Jones Bot here. I'm now a bit late to this one, but I wanted to use this video to, in fact, cover the overframe cards that were announced at Jump Festa in the Limit Over collection. And yeah, the Limit Over collection actually has two sets. There's a hero set and there's a rival set. Today we'll be using this video to cover the hero set, and the hero set contains retrains of all the aces from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, 5Ds, Zaxor, Arc-5 Retrains. So each of the aces of the Protags of those series will all be getting retrains in this set, and I'm really curious to see how Konami has done these retrains and how well they could potentially impact the TCG or potentially either Duel Links or Master Duel at a later point. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first card we will also be covering is the retrain of the ace of Yugi and the Tem, which is of course Dark Magician. And the retrain for Dark Magician is actually called Dark Magician the Pharaoh Servant. Obviously, Dark Spellcaster, it's a defense monster, which is pretty good. Level 7, 2500 attack, 2100 defense, you know, the normal stats for Dark Magician. So let's go ahead and read the effects. You can only use one of the second and third effect of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. I feel like that should say at least you can only use one of the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn, but oh well. Number 1, this card becomes Dark Magician while on the field during the graveyard. That's really good. Number 2, you can reveal one spell in your hand, special summon this card from your hand, then you can set one spell and trap that mentions Dark Magician from your deck. Okay, that is very good. Number 3, quick effect, you can discard one spell, destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. Okay, that's also good. Alright, so I like this card because not only does it really helps the Dark Magician deck in regards to it being called Dark Magician, plus also having the way to summon itself from the hand, and also setting a spell and trap that mentions Dark Magician, and also just in general background removal by discarding the spell card. I feel like this will definitely work out for the Dark Magician deck, honestly. And yeah, honestly, I have no complaints about this one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next ace. So next up, we have the retrain of one of the aces of Jin Yuki / Yuki Judai. Yuki Judai is obviously, of course, his subname. The actual choice of the card they went with for this one actually surprised me. They went with a retrain for Shiny Flare Wingman. The reason why I want to talk about this is because, to be honest, I thought they were going to do a retrain of either Neos or Flame Wingman, but I'm fine with Shiny Flame Wingman because he was a cool card to me anyway, so I have no complaints. But anyway, let's go ahead and read its effects. Or what's called and its effects. So the card's name is Favorite Hero Shiny Flame Wingman. Okay, that's pretty cool. Light attribute warrior type fusion monster, 2500 attack, 2500 attack, 2100 defense. Future materials, one fusion monster plus one face-up monster in the field. Okay, I like how that's basically gonna work well with super polymerization, which is a pretty cool touch anyway. But yeah, let's carry on. This card is always treated as an element to hero card. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. Fair. If this card is special summon from the extra deck, you can shuffle 5 monsters from your graveyard into the deck, then draw 2 cards, and if you do, this card gets 1000 attack points. Okay, I like how that's a homage to the spell card Fifth Hope, which allows you to shuffle 5 elemental heroes from your graveyard into your deck, then draw 2. But this works well just for the deck in general. So you can just shuffle any 5 monsters from your graveyard to the deck and then draw 2. Plus this card then gains 1000 attack, which is a nice addition to it, because, you know, Shiny Flare Wingman had an effect that gave it 300 attack for every elemental hero in the grave, so the fact that they kept it in this card, but instead of it just being 300 for each elemental hero, it is 1000 attack in general. Number 2, if this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Okay, that was an original effect that Shiny Flare Wingman had anyway. Honestly, this is a really good card. This is gonna really do well for the hero deck, and I really do hope that it will help the elemental hero deck more specifically because of the fact that this card is always treated as an elemental hero card. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the next ace to cover is in fact the ace of Yusei Fudo, which is of course Stardust Dragon. So the retrain of Stardust Dragon that's going to be involved in the Limit Over collection is called Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary. Now I believe Victim Sanctuary is actually the name of the effect of Stardust Dragon. So I guess that's a cool reference. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comment. Yeah, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that in the comments. Wind Dragon, obviously Synchro, level 8, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. You know, the same like regular stats for Stardust and whatnot. Same materials, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Also, you cannot activate them in the same chain. That's a good thing. Because that would make the card way too busted if it was able to just be activated in the exact same chain. Let's see. Number 1, effect 1. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your card or effect, quick effect, you contribute this card, negate that opponent's effect, and if you do, destroy that card. Okay, so that basically just gives it a normal negate, which most decks have these days. Number 2, if your monster or monsters was tributed this turn, quick effect, you could banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Stardust Synchro monster from your extra deck. Okay, I actually like that. That's a nice touch because there's a lot of other Stardust like Synchro monsters you can go into. Because funny enough, obviously you can use this card, negate a card, like negate one of your opponent's cards and destroy it, and then use a second effect to banish this card, and then go to like the original Stardust Dragon or some other Stardust Synchro monster, which is a nice touch to it. I have no complaints with this one either. This is a very good card. Okay, so the next ace to cover is the Ace of Yuma Tsukumo, which is number 39 Utopia, and the retrain of Utopia is called number 39 Utopia, the Envoy of Light. Obviously, it's a light attribute warrior, Xyz monster, rank 4, obviously 2500 attack, 2000 defense, obviously you can see on screen. 2 level 4s as its own material. So let's say effect 1 cannot be destroyed by battle except with a number monster. That is a good reference. That's a reference to the earlier episodes of Zexal, where they explain how number monsters can't be destroyed in battle by number monsters until Shark played the Black Ray Lancer, and then obviously how Kaito had Galaxy Eyes. So it's pretty cool. Number 2, quick effect. You can attach 1 material from this card and target 1 monster you control. The first time it will be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. Okay, that's good, because that helps out the other monsters, obviously. Number 3, when the second attack of this turn is declared, you can make this card get 2500 attack, and if you do, it gains this effect. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon it to your field. Okay, that's pretty good, because this will work well with the original number 39 Utopia. You can use, like when you go into the battle, you could what's it called? You can attack with Utopia, the Envoy of Light. Use the effect of the original Utopia to negate its attack by attaching an overlay unit from that card. Then you can activate like double or nothing, which would then give Utopia, the Envoy of Light a second attack. And then obviously double its attack to 5000, and then Utopia the Envoy of Light, Utopia the Envoy of Light's third effect would activate, which then which then means that when it attacks a second time, it would gain 2500 attack, which would raise it to 7500, and it would then get the ability to summon any monster that it destroys by battle and send it to the grave to your field, which it's really cool. I like the card. I have no issues with it. Okay, next up is the retrain of the Ace of Yuya Sakaki, which is, of course, Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon. Now, the retrain is in fact called Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon of the 4 Heavenly Dragons. Now, I think that's a reference to, I think R5 itself, really, because I believe the 4 dragons, which was Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon, Starfy Venom Fusion Dragon, Claymore Synchro Dragon, and Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, were all referred as they were referred as heavenly dragons or something of the sort, like back when Dark used to use them. So I think that's what the case was. I'm not really sure. Feel free to let me know on that in the comments. But anyway, let's go ahead and read what it does. Obviously it's a Dark Dragon, it's a Pendulum monster. Pendulum scales 4, level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Alright, first up is this pendulum effect. You can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. Number one, or only one, sorry. During your main phase, you can destroy this card, and you can do add one pendulum monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. Also, for the rest of the turn, unless you pendulum summon after this effect resolves, you cannot activate monster effects on the field. Okay, this is interesting because with the original effect of Honor's Pendulum Dragon, which was its pendulum effect, it would destroy itself at the end phase and then allow you to add a pendulum card. So in this case, the pendulum effect of this of the Retrain, which is Honor's Pendulum Dragon of the 4 Heavenly Dragons, this is actually a lot better. Because this allows you to then place the card you then added to your hand via the first effect of this card, and then immediately pendulum summon. Because otherwise, you're basically locked out on monster effects for the remainder of the turn. But yeah, no, this is a lot better. I like that. Alright, now we got its actual monster effect. You can only use the second monster effect of this card's name once per turn. Number 1, effect 1, this pendulum summon card gains these effects. Gains attack equal to the difference between the pendulum scales of the 2 cards in your pendulum zone multiplied by 300. Interesting. So you had like I guess we use like the Stargazer and Time Gazer combo as an example here. Obviously, Stargazer is a scale 1, Time Gazer is a scale 8. So the difference between them would in fact be 7. So in the case, this card would basically gain 2100 points. But yeah, that's a really cool effect. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battle involving this card is doubled. That was an effect of the original Honor's Pendulum Dragon anyway, so I like that they kept that. Number 2, okay, this is the once per turn effect. If this card is in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add it to your hand, then if it was destroyed by your opponent, you could special summon it. Okay, that's really good. You know what? This really is just a better version of the original Honors. I have no complaints about this one. I feel like if a lot of people are running Odd Eyes, they would likely want to run this more than the original. Only because of the fact that its effects are actually a lot better. But then again, you can play both the original and this version because the Retrain, which is obviously the one you're seeing on screen, both have different names. So you're able to run both. And yeah, I have no complaints about this one. So yeah, let's move on to... Okay, the final retrain we will be covering in this video is the retrain of the ace known for Playmaker, which is of course Deco Talker. Now, I understand a lot of people have a bit of controversy on this one because of the fact that Playmaker has 2 aces, which is of course Deco Talker and Firewall Dragon. Now, I feel like the reason why they covered Deco Talker over Firewall Dragon at first is because obviously in the show Deco Talker is actually used more than Firewall Dragon. So because of that, they basically recognize Deco Talker as Playmaker's main ace, but obviously Firewall Dragon is a cool card, obviously, but yeah, for some reason, obviously they chose Deco Talker. But I still feel like we could potentially get a retrain of Firewall Dragon at some point in the set, so there's no reason to complain, really. But anyway, let's go ahead and read the retrain's effects, and yeah, then I'll talk about how I feel about the arts and the how I feel about each card and the arts for each one at the end of the video. Alright, let's see. So the retrain of Deco Talker is called Deco Talker Integration. Okay, that's a cool name. I like it. Dark Attribute Cyber type monster, which is a Link monster, obviously. 2300 attack, Link 3, Link arrows are top, bottom left, bottom right. 2 or more effect monsters. Okay, so the same summoning conditions as the original. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Number 1, this card in the extra monster zone gets 500 attack for every other Link monster on the field and in both players' graveyards. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Okay, that's a lot better than the original Deco Talker's ability, because the original one only gained 500 attack for each monster it points to. This one gets... the retrain gets 500 attack for every Link monster on the field and in both players' graveyards, which gets it more points, plus immunity to card effects. Well, immunity to being targeted by card effects, sorry. Number 2, quick effect, you contribute 1 monster this card points to, send 1 Cybers monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Also, this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. Okay, I like that. That's really good. You're basically you're basically like tributing the monster on your field, which could potentially end up being like a low attack point monster, which could obviously get targeted for attacks. Yeah, you can end up tributing it, sending the Cyberburst from your extra deck to the grave, and then also gaining 2 extra attacks, which I feel like is a really cool ability considering that the original Deco Talker actually has a negate on the second effect, where it would tribute a monster it points to and then negates the card, and then negates the opponent's card. But the fact that they changed that and basically wanted the retrained Deco Talker to be more focused for battle rather than effects is a nice touch. But yeah, honestly, I have no issues with this card whatsoever. But I am hoping we do get a Firewall Dragon retrain in the set at some point. Okay, so yeah, so that was the breakdown of all of the retrains of each of the protagonists' ace that will be involved in the Limit Over collection, the hero set. To be honest, I really do like the overall designs for the cards themselves, plus the plus each of the of how well plus how Konami actually made the cards themselves in regards to their effects. I feel like they're all gonna really do well in regards to the decks that they're made for. And I really don't see any issue with these cards. Like they're really good. Plus the art is just amazing. But yeah, that will be it for me in this video. I do hope you'll enjoy me reacting to the card, like to these new cards and what they do. And yeah, feel free to let me know how you feel in regards to these new cards in the comments below. So whether it's about their effects or the art. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And yeah, take care.